Hi everyone, it's me Prashant Chakraborty and I'm the student of the Finance Department in Russia University. And here is my presentation topics in my assignment. First of all, my role is 203 and my session is 2122. Okay, and course number is 207. And let's started my presentation. And my presentation topics is last monetary policy declared by Bangladesh Bank. It is essentially an issue for Bangladesh. And my first slide, let's move on. Okay. First of all, current economic landscape. We about all the know current economic landscape in the Bangladesh situation. The Bangladesh economy is currently navigating challenging in macroeconomic environment characterized by persistent highest inflation, external sector pressure underlying, and there is the most important thing: external sector pressure. First of all, here is the some mention. I have mentioned it. The caretaker government has assumed office in August 2024 has been striving in maintain stability amidst such as uncertainties. And here is the August 2024 mentioned thus maintain stability amidst of uncertain government, and the government situation is stabilized. uh, that's why the economics is downgrade, and totally the government is taking this situation to undertake how to control it and how to recycle this economics money cycle. Okay, let's move on next slide. Okay, first of all, here is the table one, and I mentioned also my assignment. And here is the key macroeconomics indicator in Bangladesh. Here is the sum table. Okay, some table. Here is the okay. Let's zoom in and let's clearly view some indicator point. Latest data, previous data, target outlook. First of all, inflation. Latest data is 8.55%. Where I'm recording this video, and previous data is 8.48% is June 25. Target is should be below 7%, but unfortunately it's small high. Next is point indicator is annual inflation. Annual inflation in 10.47% in 24. Target is outlook 6% in fiscal year 25. Next is GDP growth rate real 3.97% and 578% previous data. Exchange rate 120.15 in now condition where I am recording this video, and previous data is 117. It's obviously flexible regime in the exchange rate, and our condition is valuable to our foreign exchange market. And next is foreign exchange reserves. It should be building up reserve, and previous data 26.15 billion and latest data is 30.08 billion, totally upgrade. And this is continuously build up. Next slide is foreign exchange reserves on IMF 25.6 billion, previous sector credit growth 6.40 and 7.2% fiscal year. Public sector credit growth 17.80 fiscal year 25 in half early 1 and half early 2 25 17.5%, and slower credit demand in fiscal year 26. Let's try. And there is some indicator macroeconomics in Bangladesh. Okay, let's move on next slide. Okay, 2.2. Okay, let's zoom out some key policy decision and targets. First of all, here is the policy rate. What is the policy rate? The central bank has resolved to maintain the key policy rate or the repo rate 10%, and fiscal year 26. Similarly, standing lending facility slab rate will also remain 11.50%. That means policy rate should be work, and decision and target maintains how to the economic cycle money and how should be work. And next slide, next point is exchange rate management. Bangladesh Bank has reformed the commitment of the flexible exchange rate regime with the twin goals ensuring stability reserves. The crawling May 8, 2024 was a move towards fairly flexible market. That means the exchange rate should be a flexible margin. Then should be the trade will be free, and the exchange rate will be downgrade hopefully. Next is credit growth targets. Okay, sorry. Okay, credit growth targets. Okay. Credit growth target, the primary exchange in the new policy in the lower private sector credit growth target half yearly physical year 26, the same has been 7.2%. Here is some mention about by me. 9.8% is estimated half year fiscal year 25, but central banks is anticipating private sector. How should it works and how should the get the recycle this procedure? Okay, next is government financing. Hopefully, we know the government is enjoying the supreme power of the supply money and central bank procedure to how to should get printing money supply, and fund government is spending the strategic decision and supposed to how to minimize inflation effect by typically arise from this sector. So lastly call that government financing is very important to make out of this solve this problem. Okay, next slide it banking sector. Banking sector reforms. Recently, we know Podda and Exim Bank is merged is totally about a financial crisis. And here I should be mentioned my assignment also. Bangladesh Bank launched significant reform initiatives address chronic issue and accumulating NPLs ensure long-term economic stability. This include establishment and how to work procedure and how to should get resigned and the banking sector reform track force and task force system BB operations. BB inform is Bangladesh Bank operation and one of asset recovery and NPL management. That is say that Podda and Islamic Bank should be also reforms category. Now is financial condition, but Podda and Exim Bank should be merged in together and they work procedure together in the Exim Bank. Their credit sector growth rate. Okay, next slide it comparative analysis fiscal year 25 versus 6 24 25. Okay, first of all, here is the fiscal year 25. Bangladesh Bank maintain its policy rate 10% with the standing lending facility rate at 11.5% and the standing deposit facility rate 8.5%. That means it's totally established position now. Okay, next move on 26. What about 26? The policy rate is held stability 10% and SLF rate is also held in 11.50%. A notable step was taken on July 15, 2025. Nevertheless, when the SDF rate was reduced by 15 basis points, it's 8% downgrade. Okay. That means fiscal year 25 and fiscal year 26 is totally 10. Fiscal year 25 is 10% growth rate, and fiscal year 26 is downgrade and held the 11.50% to trying to resolve it. Okay. My next slide is comparison of monetary policy eastern targets 24 25 versus 25 26. Okay, let's zoom in. Here my table 2, and this all table is mentioned my about in my assignment. Okay, feature there is some indicator in the table heading point. Feature fiscal year 24 25, fiscal year 25 26. Okay, policy rate repo 10%, 10%. Okay, that means it's equal. Okay, next feature is standing lending facility or SLF 11.5% or 25 26 11.50%. It means same. Standing deposit facility SDF rate is 8.5% and 8.0 effective in July 15, 2025. Okay, inflation target, that's the main important things in our feature. Okay, inflation target 7-8% by June 2025 and below 7% is target. Hopefully it will be work. Let's see the private sector grade credit growth target 9.8% 7.2%. Public sector credit growth target 17.5% and 17.80 is the targeted or to this work. Exchange rate minimalism crawling this not be there is not mentioned my amount because of the flexible exchange rate is the best way to free trade market. Money printing government latest I will mentioned then government is enjoying the supreme power to printing money supply and discounted Dublin facility, and this work is central bank policy. Session of money printing in 25. There is a two comparison. First of all, here is the say that here is the half yearly one. That means it's June to December. Here is the January to June. There is the category 2 mention, and here is the July December 2025. H2 or H1 is the mention about the same category. Okay, let's move on my next slide. Okay, here is the some sorry. Okay, zoom out please. Tools. Okay, Bangladesh Bank's monetary policy tools and operational framework. Now let's zoom in. Okay, instrument. There is two category heading in my table. This table also mentioned my assignment. There is the two headings: instrument name and brief description, measure, function, objective, bank rate. Benchmark. Here is the say that benchmark rate for Bangladesh Bank lending commercial bank and influencing the interest rate. Open market operation strategy, reserve procurements, repairs, standing lending facility, standing deposit facility, assured the flexible rate, flexible exchange rate, regarding it should work the Bangladesh Bank reform the fiscal year and should be economical condition. It is very good for our country and assessment of policy effectiveness remains in challenges. There is a some point I am identified that impact inflation and price stability, exchange rate, and foreign reserve management. First of all, say that foreign reserve management is best for Bangladesh, and it is now this condition foreign reserve is good because many supply and condition is our foreign reserves is in marginal condition is very good now. Financial sector stability and NPS, private sector credit growth and investment climate, promoting private sector investment and growth. That should be government sector. First of all, promise that private sector, government have been issue that some sector. That's mean they are not work. Let's move on. Like FDI, it's not properly work. Government issue his eligibility and many condition lacks of condition that administrative problem. Many also here you mentioned that promoting private sector investment, private and public growth and credit also be should be it. And here is my all about this presentation and my topic is 207. So thank you everyone. I hope that is well for my presentation and hopefully good. Thanks for your patient audience. Here we go now. Let's stop this recording. Again, thank you.